Hey gang, it's Stranger Oddities back with you. It's been a while, but we're back to the good old format that we've been doing here and everything. Some stuff to talk to you about, and got a nice stack of recent pickups that I'm really happy with, and I can't wait to share that stuff with you. And some other news on the back burner that hopefully we'll see. Hopefully it comes around and becomes a reality, so that we can actually get some good video and content for it and everything. So recently I picked up a bunch of stuff from Shout Factory, Scream Factory, which is awesome. I love that company. What they do is amazing. I just can't say enough about them, and for how much it makes me, it's able for me to remember all those days and kind of relive it, and which is awesome that they do these releasings. So I picked up a bunch of ones. These are all out and available. Of course, they're becoming more and more. The price is jumping up more and more every time you turn around. So sometimes you gotta grab them while you can, and a lot of times I will try my best to go to the record store and support them first. So in this case, I did get a couple of these from the record store. First up, we got the Scream Factory releasing of Silver Bullet, Stephen King's Silver Bullet. Awesome. This has got to be one of my favorite werewolf movies, because growing up for me during that time and renting this from the video store and everything, that was definitely one of the ones I saw a lot and watched a lot. It's got Corey Haim in it, and of course Gary Busey. This is pre-motorcycle accident Gary Busey, so you actually do have a pretty decent job by Gary Busey. Plays the role really well. I really don't think they could have made that role fit any better. I can't say enough about that. Gary Busey did such a good job in being that character in that movie, and I heard that he really liked being that Uncle Red, and just loved that relationship. And most of his lines were ad-libbed. That connection between him and Corey, were just mostly ad-libbed on his part. Now he did read his actual lines, but then he ad-libbed other stuff because he felt the role was so natural and he had such a connection with it that the director, Daniel Addis, he just left in most of the ad-libs. So most of the interactions that you see with Gary Busey and Corey Haim is actually just ad-lib stuff, so it's awesome. And of course, they got the ultimate villain of all time, one of the, I think, very underrated actors, Everett McGill. Everett McGill, Twin Peaks, People Under the Stairs, I mean, just unbelievable. And of course, he plays, I think, an outstanding role in Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. But what a great movie, adopted by Stephen King in his short novella, Circle of the Werewolf. This movie, Silver Bullet, definitely stands out as one of my favorite all-time werewolf movies. Obviously, you gotta always tip your hat to Lon Chaney and the Wolfman, but Silver Bullet, really, for me, my generation, that's the ultimate right there. That's awesome. So anyway, I picked that up, and again, big shout out to Scream Factory for putting the reverse slipcover, or the reverse artwork in there of the dark trees and everything. The original cover art that people like myself would have remembered is seen on VHS. Next one up, The Howling. I haven't seen this for such a long time. Another great, crazy werewolf movie. Very wild. Of course, it's got Dee Wallace in it, so very interesting. Full of effects and everything. They did a good releasing of it. It's just one of those 80s classic slasher werewolf movies. So, and of course, Scream Factory once again doing that awesome cover art reversal there on it. And I think, yeah, they do have the other really neat comic book looking art on there. That's the modern one, but. And of course, for us, yeah, that one. All right, and then moving right along, Bad Moon. Not an 80s horror film. This is a 90s horror film, Bad Moon. We talked about it a little bit. Actually, I've not released the video of us talking about this, but Meryl Hemingway's in it. She plays a mother with a child. He's kind of a menace. Played by what is his name? Have to look at it here real quick. Let's see. I can't. Mason Gamble. And for those of you that caught that reference, that he is a menace, good for you. Anyway, another werewolf movie, but it's actually adopted by a story called Thor. And if you're going to watch this one, it is a werewolf movie. It's about the dog. Really, it's what it's about. It's about the dog. So. And that's really cool. It has this version of Bad Moon got both the director's cut and their theatrical release. The director's cut really doesn't add much to it. As far as if you're like me, the one thing I got excited about was, whoa, how much more violent was it versus the VHS days that we got a lot of the watered down stuff. It really wasn't that much. The sex scene was a little bit more explicit, but they didn't even add most of that into it anyway, which for me it's all about the horror and gore anyway, which there wasn't all that much different about that than the actual theatrical cut. But other than that, really it stands out as one of my favorites. I do like it. Not as much as Silver Bullet, but Bad Moon, it's just kind of weird because it's not really campy enough to be a campy movie. It's not an 80s slasher movie, so it kind of stands on its own. It kind of reminds me of that whole time period in that genre where that movie was coming out. You had Man's Best Friend with Lance Henriksen, stuff like that. So, all right, and the other one is, the other trio I bought is the Psycho sequels that with Anthony Perkins. If you can believe they actually made as many of these as they did. But they're actually decent. They're not bad. Psycho 2. And, of course, these are all Scream Factory releasing, so they got the really awesome cover art that I remember, and that's part of the reason I bought them. But Psycho 2, not a bad take and not a bad spin-off. It actually brought back Vera Miles. I can't believe that. But Anthony Perkins obviously starring in it, and the fact that they brought back Vera Miles, and kind of an interesting twist. It really is. It also has Jennifer Tilly's sister in it, which is not bad at all. But anyway, it's kind of an interesting twist. They're kind of almost toying with somebody with that mental disorder, and then ultimately coming, the end result. And then Psycho 3, the most shocking of them all. And this one's actually directed by Anthony Perkins, which is interesting. So, that one, those two definitely, they go hand in hand. Now, Psycho 4, and yeah, we're actually talking about that, Psycho 4. The beginning. It's kind of, I heard it was a made-for-TV movie. It was kind of the majority of the movie is just Anthony Perkins sitting there on the telephone talking to the people on the radio, and it does this flashback sequence, which features the young actor from E.T. playing him and reflecting back on the old days, and it's kind of weird. I would say it's kind of strange. In the end, it kind of comes around a little bit and tries to add in that old school horror stuff, and shows a little bit more action out of Anthony Perkins, but that's about it. Anyway, there you have it. I do have some other news, but you'll have to wait till next episode.